Hey, it's Bill Free. I want to thank you for being here and clicking the button for watching this Facebook Live. And I want to talk a little bit about the Know Thyself conference that's coming up April 22nd to the 24th. And I want to invite you to meet Amoda Maa. She's one of our presenters at this conference. She's awesome. She's been at at least one of our previous conferences, and she is an amazing teacher that you want to listen to her if you have a chance to sit in a satsang with her. She is presenting on, I think it's, on Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern. And the title of her talk is The Eye in the Midst of the Storm. Thank you for being here, Amoda Maa. We really appreciate this opportunity to meet you in this Facebook Live. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. And, thank you for the invitation to be a part of the conference again.
Well, I had to, because you have a message and a voice that is speaking to, the title of this conference, Know Thyself. And I think, you've written, you're a prolific writer, author on the topic. You're a well-known teacher of this topic. And even your latest book is the title Embodied Enlightenment, the title to your latest book?
That's not actually my latest book.
Oh, okay.
No, the most recent book is Falling Open in a World Falling Apart.
Okay, I actually have that one. That's this one right here.
Yes, that's the one.
Yes. Okay, good. Well, I'm glad I got that straight. The idea is that is to bring content to the audience, to people, to seekers and lovers of truth. And you're an expert at that. You really bring it in your satsangs. As we talk about this Know Thyself conference and the title "Eye in the Midst of the Storm," what would you share with someone to kind of get them interested in what that might be about?
Well, maybe let's look at this word "I," because it's spelled "I," the letter I, although we could spell it E-Y-E. Perhaps let's differentiate between the I and the me. Yeah, and these are words, and they're used in different ways. And I know that different spiritual teachers and different spiritual teachings will use those words I, me interchangeably. But I like to differentiate between those two so that I can use them as pointers to know thyself, to knowing ourselves as that which we are prior to thought, prior to experience, prior to emotion, prior to sensation, and that being the source of peace, the source of freedom, the source of love. So when I speak of the I don't mean the me. Yeah, the me is the individuation, is the personhood, is the person I think I am, the person that is identified with feelings, emotions, sensations, thinking, and experiences and circumstances. That's the me. And the me stands on a platform of conclusion about life, about my life, about myself, about others, and so on. So the I that's being referred to is essentially the awareness, the open awareness within which all of that takes place. And essentially that's my teaching. And so, you know, when I speak about falling open, never mind the world falling apart part of it, but falling open is the me falling open, the structure of me falling open, falling apart, being demolished, if you like, annihilated, obliterated in that true discovery of the I, which is the awareness that is always here prior to anything that the me can possess or accumulate or acquire as a sense of self. And then there's the storm part, but we won't go into that right now, perhaps. Otherwise, that'll be the whole presentation.
Yes. And in understanding the distinction between the I and the me, what is that? What's that for? Why is it why is it important for someone to understand the distinction or the difference or the what's it for?
Well, let's just preempt that by saying the understanding can't be intellectual. I mean, it is intellectual, but it's got to go beyond an intellectual understanding. It's the purpose of pointing to it and coming to a deeper understanding in the sense of knowing, deep knowing rather than just mental understanding, is only when it's only beneficial or valuable when an individual has come to a place of what you might call a tipping point of psychological suffering, where the me, the playing out of the me, the mechanism of me, is starting to be seen and felt as the source of suffering. Yeah. Now, that's the beginning of true spiritual inquiry. So then it's valuable to start pointing in many ways. Yeah, we're kind of simplifying it now through language, but to start pointing energetically through language, but actually an energetic understanding of the mechanism of me that is the source of suffering, the source of problems, the source of pain, and so on, to the freedom that is available in the I, not as another replacement identity, but as a true knowing of the energetic space of awareness. Not awareness as another me that is being aware, but the actual fundamental fact of, or foundation of awareness that is who we always are, or what we always are, whether there's a storm or whether there's sunshine. Yeah. So then we can start to use the metaphor of being the I in the midst of the storm. Yeah. But first there has to be this tipping point so the actual inquiry can begin.
Yeah. It's I don't know what your background is with the Bible or A Course in Miracles, but I find both references in those two documents. One is I remember hearing verses where Paul, the Apostle Paul, would say, I don't know why I do the things I don't want to do, and I don't do the things I do want to do. You know what I mean? And so he was very perplexed. He was very like, I don't know why I do the things I do. And it's really boils down to what you're speaking about, is because he was coming from the me and he didn't know it. He didn't know how to sort it out, it seems like.
Yeah. The me is how should I put it? A mechanism. It's unconscious. It's automated. It's an automatic, unconscious, knee-jerk reaction to life. to the circumstances of life. And it's conditioning. It's the matrix of conditioning.
Yes.
So again, we can't really start to untangle that until that matrix or that automated mechanism starts to become the source of one's own suffering. And that's what I call the tipping point. It's the tipping point between, where unconsciousness starts to become just about conscious in the sense that, the problems are not the things that happen to me, but the mechanism that is responding to what appears to be happening to me. And that starts to shift the perspective and opens a little doorway for something different, a new perspective, a transformation of consciousness, essentially. And so it's it's called waking up, isn't it?
Yes,
it's called awakening.
Yes.
It's also called self-realization, because you start to discover or embark on the journey of what the true self is, not the matrix of me, which is a kind of almost a surface coating, but who the essential I is. We can't really call it the essential me, because it's no longer a me, but an I. And that changes everything.
Yes. And the Course in Miracles that I mentioned, there's one reference in there that is in the text that's titled "I Need Do Nothing," and it speaks about being in the middle of the storm. In I need do nothing. In all your busy doings, in the midst of the storms of life, you need do nothing, and just stay right there in the center. So it's very akin to what you're saying here. It's very close to, and I know that you're not a Course teacher, so it's the, it's consciousness that's distilled itself in your own understanding as this presentation.
Like you say, my background, if you like, is not in the Course in Miracles. I've dipped into it now and then in the past, but I don't have a great knowledge of it. And it's not either in the Bible, but, certain stories or phrases emerge. But what little I have dipped my toe in, the truth is one. It's just the way it's expressed that's slightly different. So I find, great resonance with the teachings, the essential teachings of Course in Miracles, of Jesus's teachings, and so on, of course.
I like to see the similarities. I see the I see the misinterpretations that come mostly out of the Bible, and in A Course in Miracles, because it's a progressive path and it's dualistic in its presentation and framework, pointing to the non-dual. A lot of Course in Miracles students can get stuck in the concepts of the Course, and never realizing the pointing that you're speaking from, and as the pointing of the I is essential in liberation, I think.
Yes, it's always the danger, if you like, when a teaching, a truth, is passed down in the form of a book, in the form of the Bible. That's a book, but any, like you say, method or sort of sequential teaching, it gets mistranslated along the way. It's inevitable. So we have to dig deeper, or look deeper than the sort of linearity of it, and look to what it's pointing to. But that you can't see that until you've actually known it inside, and then you go, aha, that's what it's saying. That's what it's pointing to.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, that's an important distinction. And when you're going to present this I in the midst of the storm content and in satsang, I'm sure that people will come and have questions about how does one know the true this I? How does one come to absolutely know it, not just because Amoda Maa says it, but how can they know it for themselves?
Is that a question to me?
Yeah.
Yep.
So how
How?
is there a way that they can know these things?
Again, it's not a formula. It's not a method. It's an ongoing, deep inquiry within, looking within. It's an ongoing investigation of what is actually driving my experience of life. Yeah, it's yeah, that's the undoing of the veils. Yeah, when I have an experience, something happens, or just life, and I feel really bad about myself, or I feel scared, or I feel traumatized, or whatever it is, or I feel really blessed or successful or excited. Yeah, instead of just kind of blindly going along and really kind of like from one polarity to another polarity, kind of yay, no, being tossed about by life. Yeah, that's the sleepwalking state. To actually look within, become sensitive to the mechanism that's driving the high and the low. Yeah, again, that's called spiritual inquiry. Yeah, not in the sense of just asking the question, who am I? But it's much more nuanced than that. And it's through that kind of inner sensitivity that we start to come to know that which we are, beyond that which is seeming to be creating the problem or the pain or the So it's really going to the source of peace. I find that cannot be taught. It's not a teaching that can be said, okay, do this, or learn this, practice this, and then you're going to get there. It's an ongoing, intimate, and very honest dialogue of exposing everything that is standing in the way of this true nature. And that takes time. Yeah, it takes time.
Yeah. It takes I think it takes a commitment to yourself for life. Because if you want this life to change, or at least the saboteur to melt, so to speak, if you want it to set aside, you have to have this has to be a life commitment, I think.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. It's like, this is life. Yeah. It doesn't mean that you have to go to the ashram or the mountaintop and shut yourself away for, 10 years or 10,000 years. You can still, it's actually in the life. Yeah. And this is what I'll be speaking about. The storm is the life itself. It's in the everyday, ordinary life, but the burning desire to know who or what you fundamentally are in order to discover the freedom that is available in every circumstance, in every moment, then it has to be that burning desire. I mean, my whole life has been this, apart from the certain number of years in my teens and in my early 20s when I was kind of lost in academia. But from that point on, everything was given to this. I mean, mine was to the extreme where the worldly life was pretty much, second fiddle, if you like, not valued as much, but still, it is a whole life's journey, and that's what life's about. This is the evolution of the human being through the human journey, and so that has to be fundamentally there.
Yes, Yeah.
But
What's
I
cool.
find that, sorry, if I may say, but I find that people who genuinely have this desire, certainly the people that I'm meeting through the various groups and gatherings and so on, one can feel and see, both from my point of view and from their point of view, the shift that starts to happen. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's available. That's what I'm saying. It's not like you have to wait till you're 99 before there's a glimpse of freedom.
Yes.
It is available, but it does take this inner fire of beautiful commitment.
Yeah. I think it's faster today. I think it's available more available today. You don't have to go to India. You don't have to go to California. You don't have to go to Europe, and it can come to you. And the mountaintop is sort of like it's like the Know Thyself conference. It's like amodamaa.com. It's like the podcast that you offer freely of sharing these ideas to folks, that it's slowly bringing its self-consciousness, in my mind, is slowly bringing itself into mainstream consciousness.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen that too in my lifetime. Yeah, when I was kind of on this journey, there seemed to be a lot of self-development and a lot of, psycho-spiritual practices, and not so much, this
Yes.
true spiritual inquiry. Yes, but it was kind of a little bit cloistered. And in England, not so much at the time. And now it's sort of coming down off the mountaintop, and what a rich arena it is. There's so many teachers, there's so many online gatherings, whether they're free or not free, whatever, it's like the ashram has come to us. And so this is a great blessing, blessing. It has a little disadvantage to it at times. Everything has a pro and con in some ways, in that there's such a mishmash now. There's such a spiritual pick and mix, and that can be very tempting to go from here to here to here, and to get hooked into the actual language of this one and the language of that one, and then it gets misinterpreted, and that can create confusion. So we have to be a little bit discerning in that, and also committed, I think. But it's all good. It is the way it is.
Yes. It's more than available, and there's more available than you actually need.
For sure. For sure. Yeah.
And I am so grateful, Amoda Maa, that we found you, and you could be part of the teachers. I feel that we really have a responsibility to, we try to discern who comes into the conference, so that we bring quality and focused and really sincere teachers that will have a similar voice, a similar pointing, that will complement each other. And you're definitely one of those. So I want to thank you for having such an open heart to share the awakening experience for people in a way that they can connect with, they can understand. And you're quick, and you're also gentle, but you're also very direct, as I've noticed. And this is what you can expect from Amoda Maa at this conference, or anything that she offers at amodamaa.com. And Amoda Maa, I would just like for you to close our short get to know the speaker Facebook Live with any kind of a closing statement about coming to the conference, or just awakening in general.
Well, I'm sort of inspired to respond to what you've just shared yourself, perhaps as a closing, which is that I'm honored to be part of this conference. What I like about it, or what I've seen so far, is the high quality of the teachers that you invite. Yeah, there is, like you say, a cohesive approach in some ways, or perhaps it's a cohesive vibration in each of those teachers that brings us together. So we complement each other, and that's lovely. It's not so much a spiritual pick and mix that it's kind of diluted and confused, which could be possible with a conference, and I don't feel that. So it's very nice and appreciated that I can be part of that in that way.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's great. And it takes time to get here because there's a lot out there that's available, and yeah, appreciate you saying that. And we look forward to having you at the Know Thyself conference. And everyone, please just get yourself ready. There's a registration link that was dropped in Facebook for you. So click the link if you're not already registered. It's totally free. And Amoda Maa is one of, I think, 24 or 25 presenters. And she is on Friday at, what did I say, 1 p.m. Eastern. Yeah, she's on Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern. That's April 22nd. And we look forward to having all of you join us for the Know Thyself conference. Thank you, Amoda Maa, and we'll see you then.
I look forward to being with you. Namaste.
As do I.